Now, we've just seen the 2014 FIFA World Cup Brazil. Unfortunately for the host nation, in spite of playing at the very highest level and being some of the very best players in the sport of all time, they failed. Their total capitulation began at the semifinal stage, where they were blown away 7-1 by a less than sympathetic German side. And following this utter humiliation, they even managed to lose their third-place playoff match against the Netherlands, where they lost 3-0. To put this into perspective for those who don't follow soccer, conceding 10 goals in 2 games is something to be embarrassed about, especially if you're Brazil and you're playing on your home turf. Now, the comparisons between the Brazilian team's failure to win the World Cup and the downfall of an overconfident trader are striking. A supreme level of misplaced self-belief, the willingness to try risky tactics in the middle of important situations, and failing to handle pressure when things aren't going very well are just a few of the hallmarks of a trader who's just waiting to blow up their account. So given the fact that performance has some core truth to it, regardless of the endeavor, is there anything that we can learn from the sporting malfunction? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. Now, some will say that the Brazilians are not what they once were, that they don't have the stars of yesteryear. But then you can argue that you don't need to have a team of brilliant players in order to succeed. Sure, you need some talent, but what you need more than anything else is to play to your strengths. And of course, recognize and mitigate your weaknesses. So a Brazilian team who don't play flowing, creative, and attacking soccer have probably lost their way, to say the least. When you get overconfident, it's easy to not accept responsibility for your mistakes or just dismiss them entirely. Well, the trouble with this is, as was more than evident with the Brazilian team in their earlier World Cup matches, it leads to making the same mistakes again and again until finally these repeated mistakes cost you in terms of results, and you end up paying the ultimate price, which is exactly what happened to the coach with him stepping down from his job after the World Cup had finished. Well, the problems only start to become apparent to the individuals in question when they are staring evidence contrary to their own self-belief in the face. At this point, a situation can be brought under control if said persons were experienced and humble enough to set their emotions aside and act as they should instead of doing the same things as before. It was rather more of a case of the charge of a light brigade for the Brazilians in the case of the semifinal that they lost so heavily to Germany. Failing to change your tactics when clearly things are not going well has the potential to do this. The trouble is, over-inflated egos rarely deal with the reality of poor performance particularly well. Well, the truth of the matter is that whilst there are some strong similarities between sporting and trading performance, there's also some differences. Unfortunately, you can't really fire yourself as a head trader. You can't bring in new players. For most, you probably won't be able to ask the chairman for more capital to invest if things aren't going too well. And this is all the more reason for ensuring that you're taking control of performance so you can make the most out of your time and your money.